a state of mind. When you're with family, you feel the aloha. When you're with friends, you feel the aloha. When you're on the beach, the sun's your aloha. And it'll breathe the kiss of aloha. Aloha is a state of mind. 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 A state of mind. A state of mind. A state of mind.
Aloha! State of Mind Podcast. And we are live. Yes, welcome to Aloha State of Mind Podcast. It is Tuesday. What is today? August 18th, 2020. Welcome out to the show. We do like this every single Tuesday night. My name is Mark Easy.
Yeah, my name is DJ Free.
Definitely putting it down every single Tuesday night, spreading the Aloha worldwide. And like I just say on my other podcast, we are spreading Aloha one stream at a time.
There you go.
It's all good. So I haven't checked in with you in a week. So, after living here 3 months with me, now I get to check in with you only once a week. So what's new with you?
Well, I gotta be honest, man. It's a lot quieter.
I can imagine.
Yeah, right. Especially because I live on the third floor of the house,
Hmm.
and I basically had the third floor to myself for now. And nobody really comes up here. I get to do my work, and I get to have quiet time. I got a new microwave, so
Okay.
I can so I can heat up like noodle and all that stuff without having to go 3 flights of stairs just to go to the kitchen.
Right.
But yeah, other than that, I'm good. You know what? Today it's actually been a great day for me. Ask me why.
Why is that?
Well, because I went to the DMV. I had
Uh-huh.
my appointment at the DMV. Even though it was 115 degrees
Hmm.
outdoors, and we had to stand in line, that kind of sucked. But once you got in, everything was smooth, man. There's like not that many people. It's an appointment only, so you have to be an appointment. And I got in. I told them what I needed. I needed a duplicate title for my car so I could
Right.
get paid from the insurance company. And then I needed to renew my license. They're
Hmm.
like, okay, here's your number. Go sit down. Not even 10 minutes. Got my number called. The guy was from Hawaii, by the way.
Okay.
Um, really nice guy. Helped me out. He's like, dude, for your title, I'm not authorized to do it because I haven't been here that long.
Right.
But I'm gonna send you over to the people that can. But I can take care of your license with me.
Uh-huh.
So he set me up with license and all that. I took my picture and I sat back down. Not even 10 minutes later, I get called again. And at first they're like, "Oh, you need like you got your lien release for your car, like when you have to pay off your car from your whatever, blah 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 blah."
Right.
And I told them, well, here's all my paperwork. I gave them the power of attorney, but I couldn't do it. And they're like, oh, that's not the problem. Problem is that you didn't have insurance on your car. It's like my car got totaled, and I figured, I don't know the process, so I figured I'll just stop payment. I stop my insurance on my car because I don't have a car to drive.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, see, like the DMV doesn't know that though. The
Hmm.
DMV just thinks you still have a car, or you have to give it up to, your insurance company so they can. You don't let me see what I can do for you. And that girl and that lady that was helping me the second time was from Hawaii too. So I'm like, like the DMV experience was awesome. She comes back, she goes, "Bro, I got you. Don't worry about it. We're gonna send you a duplicate title in the mail." So I got everything done within like an hour at the DMV. I was so happy. Other than that, I'm just drawing. I got my Marvel stuff that I have to do. I'm
Right.
supposed to show you, but I did. I got some commissions I'm still working on. What have you been doing since I left?
Just the same old, same old. Doing a lot of streams. I'm doing a morning show actually on my Twitch channel. Since I'm still doing day trading in the morning, so I'm waking up like at 5:30 ish, trading for an hour till from 6:30 to 7:30. I do a morning show on my Twitch page from 7:30 to 9:30. Then I take a walk at 9:30, 10 o'clock ish, like about 2 miles, and then I get my day started from there. I get everything else I gotta do get done.
You stick it to a schedule, and you're working out. You know, you're trying to get healthy, and you're doing productive work on the Twitch and everything. That's awesome. How's the family doing?
Good. Everyone's just hot, man. We're going through this heat wave, and you know our place, no AC. So like literally, I'm in here and I'm sweating. It's just like been like 100. It was over 100 degrees today. So yeah,
Right.
we're catching that heat wave, man. I can't wait to actually get a house or a studio that has AC. So not only for myself but for my equipment, has been struggling as well, feeling the heat
Right.
just melting everything down. So yeah, just been, but it's been cool. I just want to give a shout out to everyone in the chat right now. Jason Monroe is here. Mitch is here. Quan, Joe from Vegas. Jose Pablo Tavera. That's from your Facebook. So one of your friends, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I should look. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's from Facebook, and then John Cody, and Dennis Zrout. I think that's your other friend, and Mike
From
Sato
Hilo.
also. Yeah, Mike Sato from Enjoy Comics last week. Everyone's tuned on in today for the big show because and the Nutty DJ just my boy Anthony from Arizona, because he was actually pretty tight with our guests coming up. But before we get to that, there's something you wanted to do. I don't want to hold off the interview much longer. So let's get into what you need to do, and let's get straight to our guest.
Okay, so my friend from Arizona,
Uh-huh.
from Spy Hunter Comics, his name is Andy Bond. Oh, sorry. Okay, that was my Facebook lag. All right, so all the way from Arizona, he's an artist. He's an independent artist, and he works for a lot of different card companies.
Uh-huh.
He sent me something in the mail. Now I have no idea what he sent me because I haven't done a commission. I haven't, I know he's busy, so I don't really like really bother him too much.
Right.
But he sent me something, and I told him that I was gonna open it up today
Okay.
because I got it in the mail today. I think it probably came in yesterday or whatever. Because today's Tuesday and everything came in on Wednesday. And I don't know what it is. Okay. So again, I want to thank Andy Bond, an awesome artist and awesome friend from Arizona. Oh, nice. Okay. So if you can't see it, I don't know if you can see it. Hold on.
Yeah, you can see it. We can see it.
You see it? Okay.
Oh, and you hold it down, we can see it.
Yeah, there we go. He sent me this original artwork of my character, the Contractor. And then, dude, this is awesome. Thank you so much, Andy. You just sent it to me randomly, and I absolutely love it. This is actually going to go into the next issue. In the back page, artwork from supporters and friends.
Right.
And dude, this is awesome. Thank you so much, Andy. I'm trying to get all my friends, like all my artist friends, to do the Contractor.
Uh-huh.
Because the next issue is the last issue of the Contractor.
Oh, really?
So, so I'm begging all my friends to submit something so I can. And that's a great segue to introducing our guest. Is it okay if I introduce him, Mark?
Oh yeah, go ahead. I like when you do the intros. So go ahead, be my guest. You can be my guest to introduce the guest.
So coming up in Hawaii, when I started doing DJ work and MC work, there was a few names that everybody told me that I should learn from, and everybody said that, dude, you gotta just listen to these guys. Even especially in radio, there's guys like Lanai, Rory Wild, and other guys that like Jamie Hyatt and all that. But There's one dynamic duo from back in the days from I-94, and he was a DJ, like a world class DJ. Um, he was. I didn't know this at the time, but he did a lot of the artwork for the OIA football
Uh-huh.
commercials. Yeah, see, I didn't know that, but we're gonna get into that later. Or either OIA or ILH. I don't know, whichever one. Like the Hawaii high school football commercials. He did a lot of that stuff, and he's an accomplished artist and father and husband and everything. He's one half of the Mixed Nuts on I-94. Please welcome to the show. Now he's known as Everett Lalau and Lalau Art, but I'll always know him as Eddie L, Mr. Butterfingers himself, Eddie L. Welcome to the show, Eddie.
Hey!
What's up, my brothers?
What's up?
How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm hot.
Yeah.
I thought I left Hawaii and I come into this heat wave of 100-degree weather. What?
Yeah, I feel you. I'm like your neighbor from about maybe an hour and a half down south. So I'm getting that heat wave out in San Diego also. So I'm feeling the heat, man. I mean, my studio's in my garage, so I don't have any luxury of AC or nothing like that. So yeah, I'm getting killed right now.
we just bought a Vornado fan and it's not really working as I hope, but oh well.
Oh boy! Well, we'd like to welcome you to the Aloha State of Mind podcast. Thank you for joining us. We just like to interview people who's doing positive things, great things. People from Hawaii with who exhibit the Aloha spirit, and for some reason, it took us this long to get you on the podcast. I don't know why.
Yeah, you guys had a nice intro. Free gave me some love in that intro. I'm like, hey, who is this guy? Oh.
Yeah, most definitely iconic when I was coming up, like you guys were like the iconic dynamic duo on the radio back when radio was radio. So you know what I mean? So it's definitely someone's we looked up to. And as I scan through the chat, I see Dustin in there, also the Nutty DJ Anthony. Everyone just kind of hanging out. Everyone just hanging out, trying to show some love and watching the interview tonight. So we gotta give them a big shout out because I remember back in the days we all used to be one big ohana over there at I-94.
Yeah. Yep.
So, but before we get into like all the stuff you're doing now, and even before radio, before we get into all that kind of stuff at the Aloha State of Mind podcast, we kind of like to get to know you as a person, not so much how we knew you as a personality. Well, people knew you as a personality on the radio, but as a person. So we like to get a little history of like where you grew up, how you grew up, like your childhood, and then kind of segue into how you got into radio, art, and all the things you're doing now.
Yeah, I grew up in American Samoa. I mean, I was an island boy. I lived off the land. I grew taro, banana, breadfruit. I raised pigs, chickens, everything, the whole 9 yards. I even went through my land looking for coconuts so I can feed my pigs. I was a true island boy. I went to the beach almost every time. We had a family plot down there in 2 separate areas. One is like you're walking into the set of Lost. It's like way out in the boonies, beautiful spot. But yeah, I grew up in that environment. It was community-based, family. Like the next door neighbors could kick your kole, and it's okay because they're family. You know what I mean? There's no such thing as child abuse. There's only discipline. So I grew up in that environment. I grew up with that kind of upbringing of just loving people and being close to people. And I guess I kind of brought that with me to Hawaii. At first, it was awkward because people didn't understand, like, oh, this guy weird or what? But after a while, it's just I learned how to fuse my personality into what I did. And I pretty much wanted to DJ, and that's where I met this guy named Sheldon Abella. It was my boy. We met at Costco, and he had a mobile disco, and that's what I did. I latched on with him, and the funny thing is I learned how to DJ faster than he did, so he was kind of mad at me for that. But he took me along wherever he went, and I used to help him with his mobile disco, and that's where I met this knucklehead from Arizona, Mr. Nutty DJ. And yeah, him and his cousin Roger used to help out with sound systems with Sheldon and I. And then when I went off on my own, Nutty and Roger used to help me. That eventually turned into an opportunity where I got to submit some tapes to, I think it was James Coles and Jay Park, and they were with I-94 at the moment at that time, and I was kind of going between radio stations with Cutmaster Spaz before I-94 with the Ill Squad DJs, the Ill Squad DJs. So it was me, Cutmaster Spaz, Cooey, and Ryan Chan. And we used to do our stuff with Extreme Radio 104.3. It was called Extreme back then. And then from there, we went to KQMQ. And then the new program director came in and he said, no, we're not 93.1 anymore. We are 93.1. And I was like, okay, good luck with that. Peace. he was kind of flaky and he was weird, but we all left. And then it was kind of a moment where they all went off on their own and we kind of separated. And I don't know if I'm getting this right, but I eventually got my shot at I-94 with Doc Rock, JP. And that's where I got my foot in the door. And I think the catalyst of me getting more into radio as a DJ was because there was a TV show called I-94 Video Jams with Lanai and Angel Tevez. And Lanai needed kind of like the video guy to kind of help organize all this stuff. So they kind of hired me, and I kind of jumped in to help the show with trying to organize the footage and some of the segments. They wrote the script, but I was kind of organizing the footage. So I would sit down with the editor and just kind of communicate to him what we needed. Let me tell you, I sucked at it because I was green. I knew nothing about video. So I was trying to act like I was Mr. Tantaran. I knew it all at times, but it was a learning experience, and it was a little notch in my belt on how to grow as far as experience. But super grateful to Lanai for giving me the shot and all the guys that for that TV show. Because what happened was, because I was so, like I told you, my character in Samoa, that family oriented, the family, the closeness, the bond, I brought that to the show where I was always giddy and just happy, go lucky, and just friendly, and try to do my best to accommodate and serve people. Alan Oda saw that, and he saw something that he could possibly take a chance on me doing something in radio. So he threw me on in the overnights. And that's where, when I used to DJ in clubs, I used to have Jay Kidd with me. And Jay Kidd, I threw him on, just sneak him in the DJ booth and have him throw his sets and stuff. And I think, I don't know, my memory might be all faded by now, but he was my boy. He was my best friend, and I loved him. I loved him like crazy. I wanted him to participate and get involved with the industry, and I wanted to see him succeed. And that's where he got his foot in the door through Doc Rock way before me. Some other nightclubs. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jake Kidd, later on my Facebook. But eventually, I got him to come over to the cellar, and then from there, when I got that opportunity in radio, I said, Jake, come with me. We're gonna do overnight. It's gonna be late, like 12 to 6, and we just go stupid. We just act crazy. And we just started having fun on the radio, doing stupid comedy bits and just being us, just two island boys loving music and just loving to have fun and just have a good time. And it paid off because something we created, we came off genuine and just like two brothers having fun on the radio. And from that point on, it's like, it became the number one night show in the island. And that blew me away because here I am, an island boy, just having fun on the radio and just making an impact on this. Even though it was a smaller market in the U.S., we were doing something that was significant. And then we grew to the point where we had to become independent. Jake started having his own identity and doing his own radio show, doing his own thing on Island 98.5, and he became this phenom night show guy, which he pretty much took off from that point on to his own career. And then, I for me, I started transitioning into other areas. It wasn't just so much of radio, but I started messing around with video. And that was only because I was doing stuff at my church at the moment. At that time, I started helping out with like video announcements and stuff. And fast forward, I had an opportunity to work at Oceanic Time Warner Cable, and that's where I started doing all the commercials. I was doing like 21 commercials every week of promotions, promoting OIA football sports, their my favorite show, the Joy of Crafting, and all these other, all these other TV shows. I was promoting it on just to promote during their day parts. But yeah, and you know, that was pretty much my journey into. At first, I wanted to be this superstar DJ. Next, it transitioned to trying to be like who's that radio jock? Mr. Buttman. He's on Sirius XM.
Howard Stern.
Yeah, Howard Stern. And then all of a sudden, I started getting transitioned into trying to be Steven Spielberg. So, just these little things that I was trying to do in my own terms, on my own time, and trying to make it happen. And now I'm just gonna preface this right now before I get further where I'm at today. I am a Christian. I love God, and I just want people to know that the stereotype that Christians think that they know it all or they're too good for anybody is false. I am so imperfect that it's perfect. It's perfect for me to look for someone who is better than me to follow, and that's who I am. I follow Jesus because I know I'm so bad at sometimes of some things that I say, some things that I do. I'm imperfect, but I look to him to kind of like guide my path so that I can be a blessing to people. So just to say that through my whole career, I always did things on my own terms because I thought that that's what I was supposed to do. One day, while I'm doing a prayer meeting with my staff, we always get together once a week to just do a prayer to pray for the church and the people and whatever the situations arise. In my honest opinion, I believe I heard God's voice. And this was after 10 years of service for the church of doing video editing, being their video director. I heard God said, you need to go back to your first love. And I started breaking down in tears. I was crying, like Hanabata coming out of my nose, drool coming down my nose. I honestly felt, I heard God say, go back to your first love. And my first love, guys, has been artwork, has been drawing comics, drawing. And at that moment, it's been a 2-year journey from that point till now, where I'm here in California to transition into that. And let me tell you, from that point to this moment right here, right now, things are just starting to catapult. And it's not just artwork, but it's a lot more things that's on the horizon that I really feel that God is leading me to. And that's just my story. That's it in a nutshell.
Well, I mean, okay, ever since I knew you back in the Butterfinger days and you and Jake, I worked with Jake at Venus, and I never knew who Jake was. I mean, I heard him on the radio. I heard you guys doing your show and all that. I never knew who I didn't realize that he was such a great DJ too. And he's such a good guy. Even to this day, like I still can't. I go to Hilo and still hang out, and every once in a while I'll talk to him on Facebook and all that. And so when I met you, I was like, wow, man, I actually got to meet Eddie L. Like especially back in the days when radio was so strong and all the personalities were so distinct. What's it like being transitioned into the different things that you do? Because everything is for you is artistic. Like when you did radio, when you did video editing and all that. Because I remember that the commercials you did for the local football in Hawaii, the high school football. I mean, that's all your drawings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I mean, I remember that. It was very inspiring because, I mean, I used to love X-Men and all that stuff. And so when I saw, like, the Rough Riders versus the Monarch, I'm like, oh, dude, that's sick, right? Because it was like a cartoon animated cartoon having to do with like sports, which at that time nobody was doing that. It was you that was putting together you know, the Chargers of Pro City versus blah blah blah. And so I remember that like very distinctly. I remember that. And then finally somebody told me, I think it's Jake. It actually told me, yeah, right. Eddie did all of those. Oh, it just blew my mind. um, so yeah, like what's it like transferring, like basically taking your skills of artistry into the next phase of your life? Like what's
If you
that?
see, yeah, if you see pretty much everything that I've been involved with, it's pretty much all the passions that I've had, and I've always been kind of like a thinker. I like to meddle and fiddle with things to operate. Like in Samoa, I was so passionate about DJing. Man, I was a kid in Samoa. I had no money, but I managed to grab my sister's GE radio, which had auxiliary input, and I borrowed my two friends' radio, and I spliced the speakers to go into a RCA jack and plug it into the auxiliary input, and I was mixing cassette tapes into the GE radio. It sounded like crap, but hey, it worked. So all of these things that I did is pretty much the different careers that I've had, and it's all fun and games because I always wanted to prove my worth. And knowing that I came from Samoa, I felt like I had to prove something that hey, I can rock it just like anybody else. I don't care if I had pig doodle all over my feet, after feeding them and stuff back in the day. I still gonna prove that hey, I can do this job. So, fiddling with electronics, tech, mixing, music, production, voice work, all of that stuff. But I always knew that I had drawing in the back of my pocket. That sometimes I took it for granted, and I said, "I'll buy. I can do that later." But now, after all of these years of just going through these different avenues of what I love to do, my little hobbies, now I'm getting back to my passion. And I think that's where the key lies for the rest of my life.
I think those little hobbies made you a pretty good career. Do what you love and the thing will follow. So, yeah. I don't know. Where's Martin?
Oh, I think we're getting some a bit of this stream. I think a little dropouts. Someone was saying, so I'm just trying to check our connection with the thing. So I think it might be on my end because all this heat with all the computers and stuff running. So I think it sounds good to me, but a few people are saying we're having a little connection problem. So we'll just roll with it until my computer blows up. So it's all good.
It's your computer blows.
Yeah, until you don't see us online, then you know my computer blew up. So other than that, we just keep rocking and rolling with it. It's all good. But yeah, like that was a great story. Like usually we have to grill everybody. This and that. You just told us the whole shebang in one shot, and that's just goes to your professionalism in radio. So with you and Lanai, it's just like all we do is ask one question and we just sit back. It's a great great feeling to just not have to grill people. But like you said,
that's I-94 training, buddy. I-94 training.
Yeah, you said growing up in when did you actually make the transition and come over to Hawaii from Samoa?
It was right after graduation back in 19.
I think we had a dropout there. What do you say?
Yeah, 19.
Okay.
Yeah, I graduated in 89, and then I moved to Hawaii after graduation. I didn't know what I wanted to do. All I knew is that I wanted to go check out the chicks and go have fun and drink 8-ball. And I only did one thing right. That was drink 8-ball. But yeah, that transition was, I told my dad, man, God bless his heart. He was like, son, I want you to stay and take care of mom. I want you to look after mom. But me, I was such a young knucklehead. I mean, I was so into my own ways that I said, no, Dad, I want to go and pursue my dreams in Hawaii. and I didn't even know what dream I was talking about. I just wanted to get to Hawaii, and that was that.
Oh, okay. And then, so you came over, this knucklehead, just chasing a dream. So, like, how did you actually get into, like you said, you wired some radios back in some more. So, how did you actually get into? I know you said you teamed up with one of your buddies over there and just kind of learned. How did you actually like learn how to mix? Like, did it? Because you said you picked it up faster than him. So, was there someone who just showed you how to do it, or like it just came
Well,
naturally to you?
my brother, he was stationed in Schofield at the time, so he had a little bit of DJing experience. And by the way, I learned faster than him too. Anyway, he knew he knew everything about BPM. So he told me, look out for the BPMs. You just count how many beats per minute in a song. So once I learned that, then I kind of figured out the beat structures. This is all just trial and error. And then once I learned that there's 8 counts for everything, or 16 counts or whatever, I learned how there was the what's that, the kick and the snare. Once I learned those beat structures, it just took off from there. And I kind of understood that some songs were differently structured than others. Like some would have the 32 beats and then a 4-beat pad just to bring on the chorus or something. And it really made me understand to how to mix these things in. And over the course of the next 5 years, I kind of learned bass line and keys and stuff like that, so that things don't crash even though they're on beat. So it was a learning experience. But I guess it was just my knack to want to hear perfection in what I did, that I would be up late to probably the next day just spinning the same 2 songs just to get it right. So that was my ticket into understanding how to mix.
Right. Gotcha.
Well, you and I came up in kind of the same process, because that's how I learned from Richie Aki. During the days you'd have to do maintenance in Maharaja, or, go to a staff meeting, and I'd sit there in Maharaja, the whole system on and everything, and give you 2 records, and say, mix this into that, and I'll be back in an hour and we'll see how you do. Of course, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, right? You just count your 32s, all this kind of stuff, like know where your breaks are and all this, but, listen to the beat. Listen, if you can't find the downbeat, listen to the beat, because that snare is always the same. And so that's how I learned, like the smooth mix, like Hawaii smooth mix. So yeah, I came about the same way, but you're just a lot better than me.
Come on now.
So okay, you talk about artwork and comics and all that. Recently, you've been doing a lot of drawing, and they're all just meticulous. They're all just very, very detailed. Can you tell us what you're doing with it? Like, are you doing an independent comic? Are you doing your own production? Are you, with the COVID thing happened? Yeah, we can't go to conventions. When they open, are you going to be doing those too?
Well, I came here to California with no leads, no contacts, no insider connections in the business. The probably the only person I know is you, Free, and it's just purely on faith. In my faith, in what I've learned over my time of just listening to what the Word says. It's like, if God calls you to a place, He's going to provide for you exactly what you need to accomplish that. And mind you, this is not so that I can be successful and rich and I can just bask in all the glory and all the riches. No, this is something that He's going to provide for me because He trusts me that I can be a blessing to others, whether that be finances or whether that be my time to encourage, or be that ear or that shoulder that people can lean on, so I can just love people to know that there is a God who loves them. So, I got nothing, but it's just totally by faith that, okay, I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing. I'm not really commissioned or not doing anything. I'm just drawing out of my passion to just create something. And eventually I had this timeline rolling around in my head, like, just do it for the remaining of the year. And by January, you're going to go put yourself out there and go, look for a job, or just have faith that something will come to you. But I'm going to do everything I can in my power to make that happen. But I'm going to trust God that has a plan for me that He's gonna provide.
Well, that so when this you actually put yourself out in January or whatever. Again, we'll talk about this later, but please contact me because I work with a lot of like conventions like OneCon, LA Comic Con, especially LA Comic Con, Phoenix Fan Fusion, Great American Comic Con, all of these conventions and events, and I think they would love to have you, and I'll try my best to work with you and get you, tables and stuff like that. Because
Yeah,
the reason
honor
why I
and
say
pleasure,
this
brother.
is, oh yeah, no problem. The reason why I say is because when I first started, when I moved to Vegas, I literally moved here with $700 in my pocket and my friend's couch to sleep on. And over the years, I had to build my reputation as an artist, going out to conventions, getting my face in other people's faces, talking to editors, talking to people, independent people like writers and all that that need artists on their books. I actually did a promotion comic for a Christian comic. They ran out of money, so I did all this work and it never got published.
Wow.
But um, just the fact that they're good people and you had a good story. I think that you, especially with your artwork and your background and your talent, you can definitely go far in this business. We all just need a little push.
Mm.
And when the events start happening again, please contact me to let me know which ones you want to do, which ones would be convenient for you. Because there's a lot of conventions in California that are drivable. You can literally just drive to them. So
Mm.
we'll talk later. We'll talk later about that.
Roger. Thank you.
All right.
Mark, how you doing over there?
I think my computer. I don't know if it might be worth just stopping the stream and restarting it. If it doesn't, I think we're kind of losing. Like I'm getting a good read on mine, like when I'm listening back, but a lot of people are saying that they're getting a lot of buffering. But we'll see. We keep trying to keep pressing through, but I want to make sure that we get a good connection out to the audience so they can hear the
Hey,
story.
do whatever
You know
you
what I
got to
mean?
do. If you want to restart, I'm here. I'm still here.
Well,
Yeah, let's.
Facebook is the one that's kind of janky,
Okay.
but YouTube looks fine. Yeah, YouTube looks fine to me.
Yeah.
Um, so there's not only just you personally as a husband, a father, a religious man, a good man. You also have very talented children. I mean, like the epitome of being a parent is that you want your children or your kids to be better than you. That you want your kids to have a better life than you have. That things that you never had when you were a kid. And one of your kids, I mean, she is just spectacular, dude. Can we get a little bit more into that? Because I mean, when I first saw it, I was just floored. Dude.
Yeah, Sienna. She's a beast today, but it didn't happen overnight. She started her journey in dance when she was 3 years old. So it wasn't like it just fell into her lap. Because between the ages of 3, I would say all the way up to probably 9, maybe 8, it was just an activity to do. She loved doing it. She loved going to it. So she was participating. But somewhere around 9, 10, 11, maybe around 10, I felt there was a switch. Something just triggered in her, and it just activated in her where it was more than just dance, because it was like it was just her soul. It was everything about her, and she would just constantly twitch in her sleep. She would always be moving around while she's eating dinner. Everything was just always something active. She was always moving. Her body was always busy. And Jean and I, my wife Jeannie, we saw that there was something transformative about her and this whole dance thing. And we're parents, just like any other parents. When there's a dance concert, production, whatever, we want our kids to be in the middle. And me and Gene sometimes we're so biased. They're like, oh, Gina's so good. How come they're not putting her in the middle? But we never forced that. We didn't want to be those kind of parents, even though sometimes we were on the side in secret. But we just wanted her to develop and just do something that she loved. And if it turned out to be something, then hey, it'll turn out to be something. But we didn't push it upon her saying, you have to do this. You need to be No, we just let it happen organically. That's the key word. And yeah. What was that?
I said she chose her path.
Yeah.
You didn't force it on her. She said, I love doing this and I'm going to do it. Like,
Oh, wait,
what,
wait, one thing I forgot to tell you is that Sienna's a miracle child for me and Gene, because in 98, when we got married, we tried for 2 years. We couldn't even have a baby. We tried, and I thought something was wrong with me. Gene thought something was wrong with her. We thought we weren't in the right season when the ovary or whatever, the egg, and it was so complicated. We were so discouraged. We were like, what the heck is going on? And that was my last conversation I had with her dad before he passed away. The guy was so intimidating, big Samoan guy with eyeglasses and a stare that'll kill you more than The Rock. I was so scared of him, but that day I loved it. I said, Dad, I don't know what's going on, and son, don't worry about it, but God has you, and I'll pray for you. Man, I love that man. I'm about to tear up because, man, I was so afraid of him, but that day it just showed me that he was a father and he just cared about his kids. And the sad thing is, when he died, that's when Sienna was born a few months later.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So she was born. Yeah. So that was yeah. It was a touching. It was so heartbreaking because we wanted him to enjoy his first grandchild. Wait a minute. No. Yeah. Oh no. He had 2 grandchildren before Sienna, but yeah, we wanted him to enjoy our first child, his first grandchild from us, but he wasn't there. But from that point on, even before she was born, here's what I wanted to say. Sorry, it kind of went into a bunny trail, but I was DJing in those moments when Jean was pregnant with Sienna, and she was already like 6-7 months in the belly, and Jean would come to my gigs in like the nightclubs and the bars, and the bass was so loud, it was so kicking. Sienna would be kicking in her stomach to the beat. I kid you not. She was kicking to the beat, like boom, 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 boom.
So she was dancing already.
Yes. It was amazing.
Was she a part of Hyper Squad or?
Yes.
Hyper Squad.
Yep. Hyper Squad was her home. Was where she learned her foundation from. Jason Ulip, Josh Ulip, and the rest of the gang there. The rest of the teachers. She really got close to G and Will, 2 of the Vogue and whacking teachers, where she learned a lot of foundational stuff from all of them. And that was pretty much her launch pad to understanding dance, was at Hyper Squad.
Well, Jason lives here in Vegas now, and he's got a kid with Michelle. So there's, I seen him a little while ago. They're doing really well. Like from the days of Hyper Squad, was she like okay? So after Hyper Squad, where did she go from there?
Well, it was a tough choice because of the situation of where Hawaii is. We're an island surrounded by a body of water, not too many opportunities, and every dancer from Hawaii knows that. And it was a hard choice that was kind of heartbreaking because it was hard for us to move out and pursue more of a career here in LA because of the family that she built here in Hawaii. And there was just some hard feelings about it. I'll be honest, which is totally understandable. I don't blame anybody of having hard feelings of Sienna moving, because she was family to a lot of these kids. But as our family, Gene and I, we had to make a choice and a decision. If I didn't feel passionate about where she was, if I didn't believe that she had something special. Is that is sometimes in a parent's purview of their children. You cannot just be a bias and try to wish your child to be something. If you really see something special in your child, you got to pour your heart into it and support that and make it happen as a parent. And that was the decision we made, is to send Sienna up to California. And it was one of our great friends. She was actually part of Hyper Squad as well. Her child is Kea, and she was also a student of Sienna's. And now she's making a name for herself in the dance world, where she's doing some projects with Netflix. And her name is Sonoy. Her daughter is Kea. Kea, maybe when we can talk more, I can connect you guys with her. It'd be a great conversation with this family. But Sonoy got Sienna to move to LA to live with her for a little bit, and then Gene moved up later. So our family was split in half. Well, I mean, of course, the better half was Jeannie and Sienna, you know. But I'm talking about me, not my other kids. I'm saying Gene was the better half. Okay, let me just clarify that in case my kids hear that. Anyways, so Gene and Sienna moved up to LA, and they stayed here for like 3 years pursuing Sienna's career, Sienna's dream. While I stayed back home, and I just made sure that my second oldest finished her high school at Mililani High School, finished it completely. And then we would transition, and that's where we're at right here, right today.
Oh.
So, yeah.
So, is she the head, the choreographer for Lab, or what's she doing now?
Yeah, so she started doing some production, some competitions with the Lab dance studios. She first started with these dance competitions, and they loved her so much because, you know, Sienna kind of took some of that Hawaii flavor, that local love, connecting with people, loving people. She brought that Aloha spirit and infused that with her dance. So they would trip out. Like, she would be a beast on the dance floor, like full on. Her face is like, I'm going to tear you apart. And then when she gets off the dance floor, oh, hi, how you doing? Hi. You know, it just freaked
Like,
people
total
out.
split.
Like, what the heck? Yeah. So they fell in love with Sienna. They started giving her more roles. And then they started giving her more roles as far as choreography. So one event that they had to do was like, Sienna, do you know how to choreograph? And she said, oh, yeah, okay, I'll try. And when she choreographed the piece, they were like blown away. Like, wow, this is coming from a 17-year-old. So 17 or 16 at the time. So they started giving her more and more and more, and just letting her create and letting her be free to experiment on some of the visions that she had. Now, mind you, not everything worked. The directors were very specific on what they wanted, and they molded her to kind of get an understanding of what was expected, because it's the Lab signature. So it cannot just be anything from outside the box, and like not anything goes. It had to be conformed to what that the Lab needed, and they were the client. So she kind of took on that and understood that perspective, and she started to blossom, creating for the Lab. She became part of their creative team.
I heard. I mean, I think I saw her, but I was kind of tripping out. But the halftime show for the last Super Bowl with Shakira and J-Lo, she was a part of that performance, right?
No, she wasn't. She was supposed
really?
to be, but they went with a different company. Yeah, they were gonna. Yeah, J-Lo was gonna use the Lab kids, but at last minute it kind of went south, and they decided to go with another. I think it was Paris Goebel. She's from New Zealand. So
okay.
They took her dance crew instead, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, the Lab kids were supposed to. They were told, but in last minute they did. J-Lo's team decided to go a different route, which is it's what normally happens.
I think that was true. I normally I don't watch the halftime show because I'm a football fan. Like halftime show, I'm eating.
Yeah.
But I mean, I watched it because of the rumor that the Lab kids are going to be doing it. It was a good performance. Don't get me wrong, but I think it probably would have been a lot better with the Lab kids and that real tight, aggressive choreography. But it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
So, what's Jeannie doing now?
Jeannie has been he has been the momager for
Amateur.
Sienna. Yeah. So
Oh,
she's
okay.
been taking care of Sienna from when she was what do you call it? Dependent till now. You know, so she has been traveling through around the world with Sienna, which I'm so proud that, you know, her and her daughter can spend that time together. So
I know that featured at different studios. You know, they try to take care of you, and you know they want you to be a part of the family while you're there. So it's a great time for the mother and daughter to be on the road together. That's a great experience.
I got a story like Gene. I came here for vacation a few years ago, and Gene allowed me to go on one of the trips to Texas with Sienna, so I can witness as a dad what she does when she goes to
Yeah.
these classes. Okay, me, the Samoan ball, being island boy, loving, compassionate. All these kids wanted to do a video with her, so they would dance with her, the routine that she just did. Me being the Samoan ball that I am, I let her do it for like 20 times with 20 different kids. Stupid. She was so tired, and she was like, "Mom, I never want to go again with Dad."
He works me too much.
What stupid? I was just so like, "Oh yeah, take care of them. Yeah, you know, just show them a good time." No, I'm making her dance 20 times.
It's like, yeah, you only paid me for like 4 hours, not 7.
They didn't even pay me for dancing in their videos, Dad. My first and last.
I'm sure it's finding success, and you know, there's a lot more to, but like you know, not just your family. I mean, not just you, and not just you, but your whole family.